Pain is the greatest teacher in the entire world. It really is. And you can use this pain, if you use it properly, you could build yourself up and you'll be a better man in the end, and you can make yourself stronger. But don't do it for you. Do it to help other people. Build yourself up, make yourself stronger so you can build other people up.
Spartans, listen up.
We need to sleep better. So how do you sleep better? Never thought about it before. And so I met Jack, I met Essentia. Pay attention to the mattress you sleep on because it's loaded with chemicals.
Recovery, cooling, and pressure relief, all in one mattress. Up to 60% more deep and REM sleep. Less inflammation, faster bounce back. No toxins, no EMFs, no BS.
My buddy Jack over at Essentia, he's kind enough to give us a code for the Spartan community. That's DECA, that's Tough Mudder, all of us. Use Spartan25, get a discount. Prioritize your sleep so you can sleep faster, you can do more burpees, you can train more, you can get healthier. When you sleep well, you live well.
Welcome to the Hard Way podcast with Joe Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Races. We're teaching you how to overcome your obstacles in your life the same way we teach our 10 million plus Spartans to overcome obstacles on the course, with insight from the smartest, most accomplished experts from every corner of the world. Get ready to elevate your life today.
Joe Sena, CEO and founder of Spartan, host of the Hard Way podcast. Got my buddy Ryan Hendrickson, a true patriot. This guy's an animal. You're going to love him. Welcome aboard, sir.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Where'd you grow up? I'm always interested to see where folks that join the military and give their life to the, dedicate, like where'd you grow up?
At the most unlikely place, Eugene, Oregon.
How'd you put your ring in the hat? Like, tell us what, you're a football player when you were young or?
Yeah, I was a football player. I was a wrestler. And, growing up, my dad was always really big on, go and serve your country, give your country 4 years. And then when you come back, you can figure out what you want to do. But you're 18 years old. You don't know anything. You have no idea what you want to do. You're a kid. So go get some experience, get it through the military, serve your country, and then come back and figure life out. And 4 years turned into 8, turned into 12, turned into 22. And, I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to retire now. I don't really know what else to do. And then we started working in, February, kicked off the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, February 2022. And I went over there in March and haven't looked back. So since March of 22, we've just been going to Ukraine and volunteering and doing nonprofit work.
How does 22 years go? I mean, for those listening that can't imagine a life in the military, tell us how 4 years turns into 20. I mean, it is a great life, right? Like, I mean, God forbid something bad happens, but generally it's a great life, great people, shared purpose.
Well, halfway through my military career, something bad did happen. I stepped on a IED in Afghanistan that nearly cost me my life. And so, I spent 18 months, rehabilitating, getting my strength back. And then I went back to Afghanistan 7 more times after that 2010, I guess you can call it misstep or wrong step. But yeah, I mean, it's like the military, at least for me, the military was a great life. I enjoyed the structure. I enjoyed the culture. It really suited me very well. How 4 turned into 8, turned into 22 is just because that's just the way my mind works. I enjoy that lifestyle. I enjoy that culture. And, so making it, 22-year career it went by so fast. Like I couldn't believe it. It's like, oh, I got to make some other decisions with my life now. But yeah, no, it came with plenty of, I guess you could say, speed bumps along the way, stepping on an IED in 2010, a couple times in Afghanistan. I thought, this is it. But now it's been, I love the military, and it was an honor to serve.
How do you bounce back from something like that? I mean, you've got your wits about you. You're in great spirits. Most people get upset when Wi-Fi doesn't work on the airplane. You make that misstep 15 years ago, and you never look back.
I don't know if I could really say bouncing back because I went through really, really tough time mentally. I had just the mental health struggle with your entire life being changed. I mean, I'm laying on the ground along the Helmand River, looking down at my leg, and it's, at a 90-degree angle. My boot's at a 90-degree angle to my leg, and your entire world just changed, your entire life. And it's like, I'm Ryan Hendrickson, Green Beret, and now it's like, oh shit, who am I now? What's my purpose? And yeah, it was a struggle. It was a huge struggle getting mentally back in the game again, because it does. Like, mental health is the real thing, and you don't need to step on an IED to go through trials and tribulations with mental health. But for me, it really took a toll on me, and a lot of good, mentorship by my dad during those really critical moments and those critical months of rehabilitation and rebuilding my life again. And honestly, I renewed my relationship with God, because I had no other options. And it's not like I had to renew my relationship with God, but that's the avenue that I chose because I was lost and I was hurting. There was a lot of pain, both physically and mental. And, I had some really, really dark times to where, I could have been one of the 22 a day. Like, it was pretty bad. Left foot, right foot, just keep moving, always keep pushing forward, always making yourself stronger so you can help other people, and just getting that mindset of you, regardless of how bad it hurts right now and how dark the time seems right now, you can use this experience and you can make yourself stronger, because pain is the greatest teacher in the entire world. It really is. And you can use this pain if you use it properly. You could build yourself up and you'll be a better man in the end, and you can make yourself stronger, but don't do it for you. Do it to help other people. Build yourself up, make yourself stronger so you can build other people up. And that's what actually pulled me out of it, is when I quit focusing on myself and I quit victimizing myself and feeling sorry for myself and poor me and I'm owed and look at everything I've done for you, and the slippery slope. It's all entitled victimization. And I fell into it big time. And once I finally is like, you gotta stop, dude. You are literally crushing yourself, and it's all self-induced. Once I started to realize, like, let me use this pain to make myself stronger so I can help people, so I can do something bigger than myself in this world. And I had no idea what that was. But then fast forward to 2022, now we're helping in Ukraine removing landmines because I don't want kids to go through that pain that I went through. And now I'm like, all right, God, I got it. Well played.
You found purpose. So for those out there that God forbid, maybe they didn't step on an IED, but they're going through something really hard, divorce, a failed business, whatever it may be, an addiction. You've been through it. You came out the other side. What are three things that folks listening should immediately do? It sounds like one of them is stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's three things for me. And what helped me out the most was the biggest one was realizing that I'm not the most important person in the room. Quit trying to force people to understand what you've been through. Quit trying to force people to understand, everything that you think you've given up, you know. And so when you realize you're not the most important person in the room, you're just part of something bigger, then it gets a lot easier because you put, that self-induced entitlement, which turns to victimization, is that self-induced entitlement that turns into victimization. I mean, it's a real thing, but it's self-induced. And a lot of it comes from thinking you're owed something for something that you perceive that you did for somebody else. But in the end, if you're not, everybody still has to provide for their families. They have to, provide for themselves, life, limb, eyesight, all that other stuff, which your story and your experience in Afghanistan, stepping on an IED, it doesn't put food on their table. So somebody can tell you, So they just can't say it anymore. Thank you for your service. I appreciate everything you've done, but it will never be enough because you can never fill that entitlement void. Once you're entitled, it is impossible to fill that. And then when you can't fill it, you become a victim of it. But that's on you. And so the first thing is understand you're not the most important person in the room. Understand other people. You don't have to step on a landmine. You just said it. You don't have to step on a landmine to go through pain, despair, depression, to hurt. Just because you stepped on, an IED landmine doesn't mean your injuries are any better than anybody else's. It's just different. And so take yourself off that pedestal and understand you're not the most important person in the room, and you can really start healing from that. Number two is understand what entitlement is. This is life, and unfortunately, life can be hard, and it can be brutal, and it can be ugly. And one thing that we're really struggling with in our country today is nobody owes you shit. Nobody owes you anything. And so understand you're not owed a thing. And so once you can realize nobody owes you anything and life isn't fair, life can beat you down. And the harder you fight it, the harder it beats you down. But once you accept that, life becomes a lot easier. At least it did for me. And so accept that nobody owes you anything. And life isn't fair. And once you can accept that, then you're on the path. And number three is use your experiences, regardless of how bad and how much pain and how dark they were. There's lessons in every single experience. Use those experiences to teach you, to build you, to make you stronger. But don't do it for you. Do it so you can help other people. And that's a life. That's a freedom, and that is peace that you can't even imagine. When you're building yourself up and you're trying to make yourself stronger and you're using what seems like the worst experiences of your life or situations of your life, but you're using each one of them to get every single lesson out of it that you can so you can make yourself stronger to help other people. I mean, that's a freedom on a whole nother level. I mean, you don't hear a lot of successful CEOs saying, I never failed. I've never been hurt, never fallen, I never fell flat on my face. I never lost everything.
If you look at all three messages you just gave us, they're all tough love. I mean, it's tough. Nothing easy there that you gave me. But you could, like you said, you could end up living in this place where you've got massive expectations. You're entitled. You're expecting everybody to know what you went through and have a handout and help you. The third one I like because you're flipping it on its head and you're saying, hey, there's some great lessons in what happened. There's some great things I can learn, I could take away, I could be taught, whatever it may be. So you turn that negative, that I can't believe this happened to me, that, you know, instead of, into something like, hey, look at how great my life is now because of that.
I mean, failure is one of the most misunderstood words and experiences, I think, in our culture today. People look at failure, especially in the military culture. You failed. Oh man, my career's over. I can't believe I did, fill in all the blanks. But failure is one of the greatest tools. Failure and pain, you're going to get somewhere with it. But failure is one of the greatest tools in the world. Just go onto any inspirational, big business, chat group or whatever it is, and what does that inspiration revolve around? It revolves around overcoming obstacles. It revolves around picking yourself back up once you just fell flat on your face and moving forward and learning from those lessons. It revolves around failing multiple times to keep learning to finally succeed, knock it out of the park. I mean, that's failure, but failure is such a taboo word because it's looked at as you just lost everything. I failed, but it's misunderstood word, in my opinion.
It's basically what you're saying is if you treat it right, it's practice.
Absolutely.
It's university. It's education. There's no way to move forward. There's no way to get to a new level without failure. No way.
No, no, failure and pain. I mean, you can never achieve the highest levels possible that you could possibly achieve without failure and pain. It's not possible.
What does a typical day look like for you? Do you have like a journaling practice, or you wake up early, jump in a cold pond? What's your typical day look like?
Typical day looks like it's about 5:30, 6 a.m. And then especially in the summer, because then getting the dogs out, my wife and I take the dogs on a walk before it gets, Florida hot. I'll come back after, a warm up from the walk and then get in a workout, cold plunge. And then from there, depends on if we have meetings, phone calls, or just start to, answer the 5 million emails that pile up overnight, communicating with our Ukrainian team because they're 8 hours ahead. So it's usually in the late afternoon for them by the time, we're on the phone and we're making sure, stuff is moving in the right direction or putting out any fires we need to put out. And fundraising is a huge one. Yeah, pretty much rinse and repeat, enjoy time with the family and enjoy life.
You only get one.
Then it can be over quickly.
Well, how do people find you? How do people contribute? How do people help out?
Yeah, the easiest way is the landmineremoval.org. That's our website. That's where all my social media is and everything like that. We're very transparent with donors, and so what we do on the ground in Ukraine, I put it on social media so people can see where their donors' funds are going. But landmineremoval.org is that's basically where everything is at that that I'm doing and that the team's doing.
Russians put a lot of landmines out there. You're dealing with a lot, big giant number.
Yeah, Ukraine's the most mined country in the world by far, and we still don't know what's past, what's behind the zero line and the occupied areas and stuff like that. But 174,000 kilometers of Ukraine that we know of right now are contaminated areas. That's roughly the size of Florida. It can be contamination from unexploded ordnance, UXOs to minefields, all kinds of stuff. So landmines and explosive remnants of war seem about size of Florida in Ukraine, and so it it's trying to get these farmers back into their fields again, trying to get villagers to have freedom of movement. So they don't have to live in fear of their next step, live in fear of hearing that explosion. Kids out playing, you hear that explosion, life changed forever. I mean, it's hard for us to understand um, this type of this lifestyle, but for many people around the world, especially in Ukraine, this is how it is. You stray off the path, you may hear that explosion, and your entire family has been changed forever by a landmine that costs $2, $3 and just blew both legs off or killed somebody.
Do you think those that are setting the mines are tracking locations, or they just put in haphazardly everywhere and we'll deal with it later?
There's a lot of hasty minefields that have been put in that aren't tracked, and there's also a lot of minefields that are tracked. The minefield that the Ukrainians put in, they track them very well. And the minefields that, there are the Russians have documented quite a few of their minefields. Obviously, we can't get a hold of those documentation because for obvious reasons. But there's also a lot of hasty minefields that have been put in that nobody tracks, nobody knows about, and how we end up finding out about them is either civilian casualties, farm animals, or farm equipment like a combine or something like that rolls over one. It's like, all right, well, here's a minefield nobody knew about. So yeah, but a lot of usually it believe it or not, in the beginning it was more civilian casualties, but now it's a lot of livestock, getting into these areas so they can feed, so they can live, and they start to hit a lot of these mines, and that's how you figure out where some of the minefields are. But there's still civilian casualties are really high as well. It's not reported heavily, but the civilian casualties from landmines are high, and it's usually kids because a lot of these mines, like a PFM1 butterfly mine, looks like a toy, and now you don't have an arm or playing around with the cluster munition that's nice and shiny and looks really cool, and yeah, it just kills you. So, but it's not as reported as I think it should be. But there's a lot of other really bad things happening in Ukraine right now as well. So,
Anybody wants to contribute, reach out. You're doing God's work. So thanks for doing what you're doing.
yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the platform to talk about it. Thank you.
My pleasure.